Thank you so much. That is a very tough act to follow. I'm coming to you today, and thank you, Diego. Thank you, Sarah. Um, it's a real honor to be here. I'm coming to you today as a local. I'm from the Museum of Craft and Design in San Francisco. We're located in the Dogpatch district of San Francisco, a little known but excellent little gem. The museum has been around since 2004. We've been in this location since 2013. And I think the thing that strings together the three of us as speakers is our interest in storytelling and our interest in museology or exhibitions as kind of the subject of that storytelling. So I've been the curatorial director here for about 3 years, but I've worked here since at Museum of Craft and Design since 2013, and we've seen a lot of interesting stories come through our doors. I'm going to tell you a few of those stories. This is an image of a 2022 exhibition that we launched titled Living with Scents, SCENTS. And the idea behind this exhibition was sensorial. It was about kind of unlocking visual arts exhibitions from the primacy of the visual. And so here, we had some objects that were kind of as expected. There's a lot of like diffusers, perfumes, and other things. But then there were also some really interesting ideas taking place. One of the objects was intended to be deployed in hospice situations for patients with Alzheimer's and dementia because scent is so strongly linked to memory. And the device would deploy familiar scents like your favorite meal or other things to kind of bring you back to a memory place. It was in 2022, which here was kind of at the tail end of the pandemic. So we were really thinking about ways to display objects around smell and olfactory senses, with it, one, being safe for everyone. People were still wearing masks at that time on occasion. And two, without the sense diffusing into each other, creating kind of a singular nexus point for where the smell was, or like containing that. So here we have two options of how we decided to display those. One, the cloche containing the teapot. That is a teapot 3D printed out of black tea leaves. So the idea of it is that you get this incredible kind of sensorial experience of having your ritual of tea by drinking from tea, in essence. And the artist designed this wonderful glass cloche to go over it. We placed black tea leaves within to kind of heighten the sense. And then the idea was you could lean in and get that smell. The second image is a perfume dispenser and perfume developed by an incredible artist who studied, we know them here as fence lizards, but they're the most common lizard in California. If you've been on a hike in any of our mountains, you've seen them. Their scientific name is Saloparus, and the perfume mimicked their pheromones. The idea was that we could be in more communication with our animal counterparts in the world by wearing this perfume. But we wanted people to be able to smell the perfume in addition to kind of, being amazed at this beautiful perfume bottle that she created. So we created these ceramic nose cones, is what we called them, and then put wafts or paper containing the perfume within daily, which my gallery guards did not love me for. But we did it. And then another thing, I think specifically to our name, we are the Museum of Craft and Design. And what makes craft so unique is this idea of the handmade and of process. So what we're always trying to do is bring in the hand and bring in process into our exhibit design. For this show, this was in 2024. It's called Neon is Soulcraft, and it was curated by Kelsey Assel and Meryl Pataky, as well as myself. And the big idea of this exhibition was we wanted everyone to leave knowing that every piece of neon you've ever seen has been made by hand, and that includes every Coors Light sign you've ever seen and all of the neon in Tokyo or Vegas, whatever. It's all made by hand. There is no way to industrialize or factory produce this product. So as part of the exhibition, we made sure to bring in Meryl Pataky, who is herself a glass blower but bender mostly. And within the museum space, we had her showing off this practice during events, which we also served alcohol, and fire and alcohol, always fun. So as you can see, it's really well attended, but the kind of amazing thing about this is the storytelling aspect of this was so clear and so obvious. And I think when you watch a maker at their craft, you just naturally kind of feel that within your own body and understand the years of training and skill that is required in order to make something that maybe you wouldn't take a second guess at. So next time you're at the bodega and see the Coors Light sign, appreciate it a little more. And then I threw in this last slide because we have something of a panorama on view at the Museum of Craft and Design currently. This is Judith Schachter, Supernatural. Judith is an artist based out of Philadelphia, and she had a incredible artist residency at the Penn Center for Neuroaesthetics, which is amazing that exists. But there she was studying kind of biophilic design and the way that your brain reacts when it sees something beautiful. So really thinking about the idea of beauty. From there, over 2 years, she created this piece called Supernatural. It's a dome as well. So I love that Dr. Sarah Kenderdine was speaking about domes. It's intended as a secular temple, and where you would typically encourage or encounter stained glass in a church environment, here we're inviting the church into this kind of transcendent space of appreciating the world around you. So it's peppered with flora, fauna, and insects as you go through. But it does have many of the same qualities of a panorama in that you are surrounded by the artwork and kind of ensconced within it. So yeah, come visit us at the Museum of Craft and Design. That's also a push at the end of this to come see us.
Thank you so much, Ariel. So Ariel, I would like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How can exhibition design help us connect with immersive technology through touch and other senses and not just sight?
Yeah. I think our mission at the Museum of Craft and Design is to make craft accessible to everyone. And I think so importantly, if all we're prioritizing is sight and the visual, we're losing a huge audience. And so we have really championed accessibility in terms of disability at the museum. We started this with a show that we did in 2021 in conjunction with a local organization here called Creativity Explored, which some of you may be familiar with. But it's an artist studio for artists with developmental disabilities. And then our programs department has really just like made a goal. I don't know sports, but they really ran the field with accessibility. So we now have a disability advisory committee that is headed by Maya Scott, who is in the center of that picture. Maya is many things. She's an artist. She's an activist. She is blind. And she leads workshops at our museum. So what you're seeing here is one of our signature events called Make Art Family Day. And Maya is in the center in the tie-dye t-shirt and the eye mask. And she is teaching people how to carve soap bars. And so part of that is like exploring your creativity and working with materials and being tactile and having the hand, and also like smelling. It's, soap is scented. But then the other part of that is she encouraged the workshop attendees to wear an eye mask themselves, which really has you focus on using touch, tactility, scent, kind of feeling the grooves of where your tool has left a loss of material. There's something very sensual about that, and really unlocks a lot of the ideas that we're hoping for in the museum. And a second quick answer to your question, we have been also working with a company called Ally, who is an AI startup, and they have developed this kind of audio component of that. So we have this tactile component. We're also working on an audio component. This AI app will generate visual descriptions of artworks in real time. So, we're a non-collecting institution. We change exhibitions every 4 months. And prior to Ally, we were writing audio descriptions of works every 4 months, every time we got something in, which is a painstaking process, and then recording it ourselves and putting it online. Ally now has this amazing ability to not only describe artworks in real time, you just point your phone at it, take a picture, and Ally will describe in detail what you're looking at. But it also has the ability to be conversational, which is something as curators we can't do, right? Like we're always being didactic. I write this wall text, you read it. Hopefully you read it. I don't, not everybody does. But then you just get one view of what you were experiencing. But with Ally, you're able to then back and forth and ask questions, which is such an interesting and wonderful development.